a developing story. A weeks-long search for this woman, Shaquina Harris. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Erica Bryant.
I'm Scott Wickersham. Family and friends spent the day searching and spreading the word about Harris and where she may be. Channel 9's Hunter Shines is live tonight at police headquarters. Hunter, you spoke with loved ones who say they're not stopping until
she left the hospital smiling. A brand new baby niece in the family. Sunshine outside. Nothing about that morning said this would be the last time anyone saw Shaquina Harris alive. But by the next day, she was gone. Not gone like busy. Not gone like she needed space. Gone like she vanished off the face of the earth. And weeks later, we'd find out the truth was way darker than anyone imagined. Before we get into this one, if you're new here, welcome to Shadow Crime. This channel is where we dig into real cases, real victims, real families still waiting for answers. If that's the kind of content you care about, do me a favor right now. Hit subscribe and tap that bell icon. I say this every time because I mean it. When you don't subscribe, you miss the moment we get updates on cases like this one. And trust me, this case has a lot more coming. Okay, let's get into it. Shaquina Latavia Harris was 29 years old, living her life in Charlotte, North Carolina. On the morning of July 2nd, she walked out of Atrium Health Hospital in the Dilworth area of uptown Charlotte. She'd been there visiting her sister, who had just given birth. If you look at her social media from around that time, you can feel how happy she was. A new baby in the family. That kind of joy that makes you believe life is good. She was last seen around 10 in the morning, wearing gray sweatpants, walking out of that hospital. And for a while, that was it. That was the last confirmed sighting of her. But here's where it gets complicated. Investigators believe she may have also been spotted later that same afternoon, miles away, near Beatty's Ford Road and Woodford Bridge Drive on the north side of the city. So somewhere between leaving that hospital in the morning and the evening hours, Shaquina moved across town. And that evening is when things take a turn. Her last known contact with anyone who loved her was a FaceTime call. That call came from a home on Woodford Bridge Drive, near Beatty's Ford Road, the same area she'd reportedly been seen in. She was talking to someone she trusted enough to call. Nothing seemed wrong. Nothing seemed off. Then, according to her own aunt, on July 3rd, Shaquina just went blank. No calls, no texts, no check-ins, nothing. And if you knew Shaquina, that wasn't like her at all. Her aunt, Shaquina Harris, later told local reporters, quote, "I ain't sleeping, I can't sleep, 'cause we don't know if you're okay if you're not." End quote. Imagine living every single day not knowing if your niece is alive or already gone. That's the kind of pain her family carried for weeks. And she wasn't the only one who felt it.
Beginning with a developing story. A weeks-long search for this woman, Shaquina Harris. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Erica Bryant.
I'm Scott Wickersham. Family and friends spent the day searching and spreading the word about Harris and where she may be. Channel 9's Hunter Shines is live tonight at police headquarters. Hunter, you spoke with loved ones who say they're not stopping until she's found.
Scott, Shaquina Harris has now been missing for 2.5 weeks, and as CMPD investigates what happened to her, her family and friends are doing everything they can to get the word out and hopefully find her. This is Shaquina Harris, a 29-year-old Charlotte woman whose friends and family are worried sick about.
Ain't sleeping, can't sleep, because we don't know if you okay, if you not.
Police say Harris left Atrium Health Carolina's medical center July 2nd. Her friends say she was visiting her newborn niece. Then her family and friends say later that evening she FaceTimed her friends from an acquaintance's home on Woodford Bridge Drive near Beatty's Ford Road.
On July 3rd, Shaquina goes completely blank. No, nobody hear from her, see her. It just ain't like her.
Hey, have you seen this girl or her dog anywhere?
Ever since, those who love Harris have spent every day desperately searching for her.
You seen this girl or her dog anywhere?
Handing out flyers Monday in a Food Lion parking lot and taping them up at bus stops and light poles.
Pray, stay vigilant, keep looking for her.
At one point, a woman so moved, she stopped to hold hands with and offer words of encouragement to Harris's friends as they do everything they can to bring their bubbly friend home.
We not stopping until we find her.
And Harris's friends and family tell me they have even searched the greenway in that neighborhood where she was last known to be. Police say this is still an active investigation. They have interviewed several people, but so far they have not made any announcements on any new leads in this missing persons case. Live at police headquarters tonight, Hunter Sines, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Her best friend, Michaela Carter, was right there with the family, refusing to give up. Michaela told reporters, "We're not stopping until we find her." And she meant it, because for almost 2 weeks, there was nothing. No sign of Shaquina. No leads that the public knew about. Just silence. So the family did what so many families in this situation are forced to do. They took matters into their own hands. They printed flyers with her face on it. They walked the streets of Charlotte, uptown near Beatty's Ford Road, anywhere she might have been, and they put those flyers up one by one. Not because police asked them to, but because a mother, an aunt, a best friend, they can't just sit at home and wait. They needed to do something. They also searched the greenway near where she was last seen, walking through brush and trails, hoping and also dreading what they might find. If you've never experienced that kind of searching, I hope you never do, because it's a specific kind of terror, walking through the woods looking for someone you love, not knowing if you're about to find them alive, or find them not breathing at all. By mid-July, Shaquina had been missing for almost 2.5 weeks. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police's missing persons unit was actively working the case, but publicly, there wasn't much movement, and I want you to sit with that for a second. 2.5 weeks. That's over 400 hours of a family checking their phones every few minutes, hoping for a text that never came. Now here's something that stood out to me while researching this. That FaceTime call, the very last contact anyone had with Shaquina, it came from a home on Woodford Bridge Drive. Write that street name down, because it's about to matter a whole lot more than anyone realized at the time. At this point, nobody outside of investigators knew who lived in that home, or what role, if any, that person played in her disappearance. To the public, it was just an address, a location, a footnote in a missing persons case. But investigations don't stop just because the public loses interest. While flyers were going up around the city, while her aunt was losing sleep, while her best friend was refusing to give up hope, something was happening behind the scenes. Detectives were working, and what they eventually uncovered would turn this from a missing persons case into something much heavier, much darker, and honestly much harder to process. Because weeks after Shaquina disappeared, everything changed. The story that started with a young woman visiting her newborn niece, glowing with joy, ended up somewhere none of us wanted it to go. And the person connected to that street, Woodford Bridge Drive, the same street as that last FaceTime call, he was about to become the center of this entire case. I need you to keep that connection in your mind, because in the next part, I'm going to break down exactly what investigators found, who was arrested, and why this case took such a disturbing turn.
Let's go here tonight. A suspect is in jail charged in a woman's death. Shaquina Harris, here she is now. She was last seen over a month ago. WCNC Charlotte's Alexandra Rios Malvia went to the suspect's neighborhood as neighbors tell us they're stunned by these new developments.
Outside of CMPD headquarters tonight, where police say a man is charged in the death of Shaquina Harris. Neighbors we spoke with say that this news is shocking, especially since they describe the man who is charged as well liked and a familiar face in the neighborhood. Those signs asking for information about 29-year-old Shaquina Harris are still up around the Charlotte neighborhood.
Oh no, I did see the sign a couple weeks ago. I didn't think that it was like in this neighborhood.
Police say Harris was last seen July 2nd, leaving Atrium Health in Uptown. Investigators say she may have also been in this area. Now police say this case is a homicide investigation, and Floyd Long, who lives in this house, is now charged with first-degree murder. Police documents also show he's charged with concealing or failing to report a death and felony larceny of Harris's dog.
I'd say it's disappointing at first thought, first reaction. Just because, like I said, I don't expect anything like that to happen over here.
Another neighbor who did not want to be identified tells me he knew Long and would sometimes come over to his house. He says Long had 2 children, including a child with autism, and that Long's father recently died. He also tells me Long had been battling cancer. The neighbor believes Long and Harris had some type of relationship. He says he met Harris's family when they came through this neighborhood looking for her. He shared surveillance video with them and with police. And he also remembers a night when officers spent about 6 hours at Long's home. This is an ongoing investigation. We will update you as soon as we learn more. In Charlotte, Alexandra Rios-Malvia.
On August 15th, weeks after Shaquina vanished, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police made an arrest. The man's name is Floyd Morris Long. He's 45 years old. And here's the detail that connects everything we just talked about. His address is on Woodford Bridge Drive, the exact same street where that final FaceTime call came from the night Shaquina went silent. Let that sink in for a second. The last place she was digitally connected to anyone who loved her turned out to be tied to the man now accused of killing her. Floyd Long was charged with first-degree murder. He was also charged of concealing or failing to report a death and felony larceny of a dog. Yes, you heard that right. A dog. According to court documents, after everything that allegedly happened to Shaquina, prosecutors say Long stole her dog, a small white, long-haired Yorkie Terrier mix. Her pet, the one thing that probably knew something was wrong before anyone else did. New court documents allege that Long killed Shaquina on or around July 5th. Remember, she was last seen July 2nd, and her family said she went completely silent starting July 3rd. So if these documents are accurate, that means for a couple of days, something was happening that none of us on the outside knew about. A gap in time where a young woman's fate was already being decided, while her family was still hoping their phones would ring. Prosecutors also allege that Long secretly disposed of her body, specifically to conceal her death. Now, I want to be honest with you here, because that's what we do on this channel. Where exactly her remains were found has not been confirmed by any credible news source. You might see claims floating around online about specific locations or specific details, but until that's verified through reliable reporting, I'm not going to sit here and tell you something is fact when it isn't confirmed yet. That's not how we do things here. What we do know for certain is that Floyd Long was booked into the Mecklenburg County Jail, and he is currently being held without bond. And here's something that might make your stomach turn a little. Court records show Long had actually been in that same jail just days earlier, on August 8th, on a completely separate charge, possession of a firearm by a felon. He was released. And shortly after, he was arrested again, this time for Shaquina's murder. So now I want you to think about that timeline with me. A convicted felon, found with a firearm, released from custody, and days later charged with killing a 29-year-old woman who was simply visiting her newborn niece in the hospital. What led detectives to him specifically hasn't been made public yet. Whether he knew Shaquina personally, whether she trusted him, whether he was truly just an acquaintance she called that night, none of that has been confirmed. And that's honestly one of the most unsettling parts of this case. Because sometimes the danger isn't a stranger in the dark. Sometimes it's someone close enough to answer a FaceTime call from. So I want to ask you something. If someone you love went quiet overnight, how long would it take before you knew, deep down, that something was wrong? And when we trust the people around us enough to visit their homes or call them late at night, how do we really know who we're trusting? If this case moved you the way it moved me, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell icon so you don't miss the next update, because there is more coming on this one. And drop a comment below telling me what part of this story stuck with you the most. This is Shadow Crime, and we'll keep digging until Shaquina gets the justice she deserves.